Sometimes the saying "you are your own worst enemy" rings a lot of truth to most people, as we dwell in our own self-hatred and let the opportunities pass us by. Self-hate might be a sign of a depression, and is definitely a sign that you need to change something about your life. Self-hatred paves the way to one's self-destruction. It's like constantly living with a bully that you cannot escape from. It's like a prison you have built for yourself to torture yourself. The source of self-hatred might be your appearance, your previous life choices, your intelligence, and so on. It's like living with constant criticism and judgment towards yourself. What is worse, you may even convince yourself that other people view you in the same way you do. Your self-hatred becomes your reality. It becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy. So why do you hate yourself so much?
And I can't stop asking myself, why do I hate myself so much?
So where does your self-hatred come from? It may very well be from your childhood. It can come from your parents. Have they criticized you too much for something you could not achieve, or for your appearance? You may very well have been living with a narcissistic parent. Your childhood is one of the most important periods of your life, and the beliefs you form may empower or scar you for life. You may develop the feelings of self-hatred if you have been bullied at any point in your life, so you may have internalized other people's hate towards you and continue to constantly pick on yourself as a habit. So how does it affect you? Self-hatred might affect you in different ways: anxiety, depression, and engaging in destructive behaviors. Those are just some of the effects of self-hatred. You may want to isolate yourself from the others in order not to feel further judgment from the outside world, as your own self-hatred seems to be that intense. How to deal with self-hatred? One of the best ways to deal with self-hatred is to avoid absolute statements. Those are all or nothing statements we love to use sometimes. For instance, you may say, "If I fail at my job, then I failed at everything." Understand that there are different areas in your life and you may not be successful in all of them. A person that is successful in his career may not be as successful in personal life, and that is okay. Remember that your beliefs are not the ultimate facts. Sometimes when you tell yourself something enough times, it becomes a fact for you, but it is not. The best way to tackle this problem is to write down all the negative statements you have about yourself and to find real evidence against those statements. Finding facts against your negative thoughts will help break the pattern. For instance, if you feel like a loser, write down why you feel like this, and then find facts against those statements. It's a really simple way to focus on positivity more. If you're finding it hard to find facts to counteract your negative thinking, start with bridge statements. These statements are not absolutes, but a maybe or perhaps statements. For instance, if you feel like you look ugly, tell yourself, "There's a possibility I'm not ugly. Maybe other people view me in another way. Perhaps my face is actually quite appealing to others." In that way, you will be more open to the fact that your beliefs are not facts, and your negative way of thinking is actually wrong. Another way to combat self-hatred is to come to terms with your past and your mistakes. Remember, we're all human and we all make mistakes. This might be especially hard for a perfectionist to realize, as there is an additional burden with everything they do, as they want everything to be perfect. But perfection is not achievable, and mistakes are always made. We need to understand ourselves and to be compassionate towards ourselves in order to achieve peace. An exercise to let go of those feelings of regret is to write a letter to yourself where you forgive yourself. Write down why you forgive yourself. Read it whenever you feel a spark of self-hatred, and that should help you move on. Forgiveness is a great tool in dealing with hatred in general. When we forgive, we liberate ourselves. Forgive yourself and others in order to continue your journey with more happiness. A powerful piece of advice is to ask yourself, what would make you change your feelings of hate towards yourself? Do you hate yourself because you haven't achieved something due to procrastination? Perhaps your feelings of self-hatred are there because you subconsciously want to change something about your life. What is it that you really want? Write it down. After you have written your goals, divide them into smaller tasks and get going. Start with actions and less negative thinking. Set out your goals and see how your mindset will shift when you achieve them. In conclusion, the best way to deal with your self-hatred is to understand where it is coming from. Use a multitude of methods, including physical exercising, as well as journaling and writing letters in order to move past your problem. Challenge your negative thinking as much as you can. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody, always know that there is no shame in talking to a therapist about your problems. Take your mental health seriously and allow yourself to heal.